My name is Lloyd and I'm an independent vehicle consultant. I find cars for people. Over the past year, on my YouTube channel, I've done a series of about 25 reviews, known as the Tweed Jacket reviews, where I've reviewed and assessed cars of all different shapes and sizes, old and new, expensive and cheap. I've had some feedback though from some of my viewers who obviously love the reviews, but want something a little bit less expensive. And so I present to you no budget reviews, all filmed on a phone, no fancy editing, no fluid head tripods, no DSLRs, just honest cars for less than £1,000 that you can pick up on the second-hand market. So join me on an adventure around the country as we go and find these cars for less than £1,000, and we have a lot of fun doing so. Welcome to another episode of No Budget Reviews. I'm terribly sorry that it's so wet again. Today we are in Watford, and Ibby has once again provided me with another one of his cars for review. This is a 2004 Suzuki Grand Vitara 1.6 Sport. Before the facelift, which was a few years before this was known as the GV1600. The three-door model, this is the smallest of the three body types that Suzuki did at the time. They also did a 5-door and an even larger 5-door called the XL7. The XL7 normally had 7 seats, but there was also a 5-seat model available, which is very confusing. This is the second generation Vitara, better the Grand Vitara in most markets, but also you could get this as a Geo Tracker in America. I think the Chevy Tracker as well, and the Mazda Levante, I think it was called. So a whole number of names. Spare wheels on the back. This car just reminds me very much of a slightly larger Jimny. The first episode of No Budget Reviews, which was last November, was on a 2004 Jimny, so it's very interesting to compare the two. Ibby picked this car up actually after it had had a sort of write-off, but the write-off it was actually listed down for is so utterly ridiculous that I will show you what that is, and you won't believe it. There's really nothing to worry about in terms of being anything wrong with the car, because there really honestly isn't, or it's a very minor thing. So with this post-facelift model, the grille and front is a bit different, but otherwise they're very similar. So if I go round to the back, we've got these, I think these are alloy wheels on this car actually. Just go round to the back, past the very, very clean looking fuel flap, and open up here. Obviously old fashioned 4x4, we've got the spare wheel there, like on a Jimny too. Opens to the side. The boot's not very big on this car, it's about, say, 200 litres or so. It's bigger than a Jimny, but, you know, most of the time if you were having a family, you'd be either having the seats up or down, depending on what you needed. 12-volt socket there, jack lives to the side of there, and there's a sort of storage cubby there, whatever it is you need. When we get in the back, let's have a closer look at that. Don't really need parking sensors in this car either. The rear one is quite big, although that spare wheel does get in the way. Supplied by Town and Country Cars, which was in sort of the Guildford area, which is Ripley's near there as too. Who also supplied the first generation Vitara that I owned briefly, which is a 96 model. Right, I think it's time to get inside and out of this rain. Really easy to climb in. Nice raised driving position. Now, the reason this car was actually written off was just this door mirror here. Someone had clunked that off in some kind of accident, and the insurance company thought it was more expensive to repair that door, and there's a door mirror, and there's a very small dent on the door, than to, write the car off. So they decided that they would write it off, which I think is really stupid. So Ibby just bought another mirror in the same colour, and that's it. Crazy. Anyway, Original stereo in here. The car's only done sort of top end of the 60s in terms of miles. I think it's about 68. Got original stereo in here. Tells you it's a Grand Vitara. We've got a few blanking plugs because this is only the 3-door, and this was considered quite basic. Although compared to the Jimny, it feels really luxurious actually. This dash is a bit hard, but you know, so are most cars of the era. We've got electric mirrors here. Obviously I won't operate that because that one doesn't work at the moment. Just 2 electric windows because we don't need them in the back, and cut off switch, and there's the door locking button. Fog light switch is just there, and the adjuster for the headlamp levelling. Like any old Japanese car, we've got the indicators on the right and the wipers on the left. The key is very interesting. This is the same key that's actually used in the current generation Vitara. The housing's been changed because it kind of looked a bit like that originally. So that's all been changed, but got this new housing on it and it's absolutely fine. Just put the key in. Just turn that on there. The dashboard illumination for some reason doesn't come on very sort of brightly when you're trying to just drive normally. It's very strange. I don't understand why that is. As you can see, 68,000 miles. The cup holder insert, which would have been in here, has been just removed by Ibby. He's just going to be cleaning that, and also we've got this big cubby under there with a locking wheel nut key. I don't believe we have air conditioning in this particular model. It is the base model of a range after all. But we've got a very easy to operate fan. It's absolutely no problem at all. Has a light switch there, and there is a CD player here. I don't think this car has a CD changer. I think this just said it's controlled there. Glove box. It's nice and big. My mount's in there for later. And the fabric's not bad. These seats are quite comfortable actually. They're not bad. Got 2 12-volt sockets in here for whatever it is you need 2 12 sockets for, and of course a proper low-range 4-wheel drive gearbox. For some reason someone had left it in 4 high. I've put it in 2 high because I like to save fuel. Don't know why that is not coming. Oh, it moves like that. Oh, okay. Armrest moves like that. That's nice. It's just much better trimmed than the older Vitara as well, like the one I had. And the steering wheel looks nice. Possibly this is the facelifted steering wheel. That's why it doesn't look too bad. It's quite nice in here, really. Absolutely loads of headroom. Look how much headroom there is in here. And the pedals feel quite nice. We'll go for a drive a little bit later and we'll see what that's like. But overall, it's not too bad in here. So I'm going to get in the back now. Just shove that forward. I think I should pull the sleeve. That's as far as it goes. That's going to be interesting. Let's put that back and maybe try getting the other side, shall we? Okay, I managed to slide it a bit better, so we'll get in this side. It's not too difficult, really. At the seat, close the door because I'm just on my own today. Close the door. Seat moves back, like so. Oh, it's alright actually, there's plenty of room in here. Obviously masses of headroom. Knee room's perfectly good. I'm 5'11", so I'm not that tall anyway. Is that a tiny little ashtray there? A tiny ashtray. Yes it is. It's like one of a Metro. Interesting. Got some cup holders here and a sort of cubby space there, whatever you need to, and some grab handles, very important if you're going off-road. It's not bad in here. It's quite nicely trimmed, and then a light in there too. Very nice. Here we have the G16B engine, classic Suzuki engine, generating 95 horsepower. There were other engines available as well in the Grand Vitara, but this is the base one. Also the same one that I had in my old Mark 1 Vitara, and went into other Suzuki models too. The main problem with this engine is oil leaks. As you can see along there, Cam cover gasket sometimes weeps along there too. But overall, for the age of the car, it's really not that bad. I'm amazed how little rust there is on this example, actually. Usually you expect Japanese cars of this era to be dissolved by now, but this one's absolutely fine. It must have been garaged for quite a lot of its life. Yeah, just make sure the cam belt's been changed, obviously, as you would do on a load of other cars, but, you know, there we go. Right. Off we go. Having owned a Vitara before briefly, and having driven the Jimny on the first episode of No Budget Reviews, I am familiar with these older Suzukis, and we've got, I think, some kind of recirculating ball steering or steering box in this car, and you can definitely feel it. The steering wheel takes an awful lot of arm twirling when you're just driving normally on the road. Gearbox is very long throw, feels quite kind of meaty, doesn't feel like a road car at all, and of course this really wasn't designed as a road car, it was designed for being tough off-road, and they certainly are. Other engines available in the Grand Vitara were a 2 litre with 125 horsepower, and in the XL7 there was a 2.7 litre V6 with 170 horsepower. Obviously there were also some diesels, but as you know, on this channel we can't talk about those. Over these bumps in this sort of suburban area of Watford, it feels just like it breezes over them. There's like they're kind of not even there. You do feel them, but it just doesn't at all seem like it's phased by them. It's just remarkable in that way. Steering's very light, again rather like a Jimny. There's no problem really. A lot of people like driving cars like this in the city, and you can understand why. The visibility on this car is remarkably good, simply because it's, well, it's just very, very, very short. There's nothing to it at all. It's kind of a shame that we're in such a low speed limit here. I think it's 20, so be nice and careful, we won't speed or anything. But this isn't perhaps the best area to test a car like this. Most of the noises I'm hearing don't really come from the engine, they come from the transmission. You hear a lot of transmission whine in this car. Just seeing the newer Vitaras around, I've just seen a couple of them, and they're nothing like this at all. I've driven one, and it's just a smooth, capable, nice, modern, small crossover. This is, you know, far more engineered for things like the Kalahari, and the fact that people bought these back in the day in 2004, they were becoming more and more of a lifestyle choice. They weren't exclusively bought for being tough and going off-road, but this has still got all the engineering there, and it's got the presence. But you know, you can take these off-road onto a farm track and it will love it. Can't say fairer than that about it. What an excellent car. I like it. More transmission noise, more indicators on the wrong side, and more, I'm afraid to say, camera mounts in the way, and that's just the way it goes on No Budget Reviews, I'm afraid. So going along through the suburban bit of Watford, all these nice houses. And there we are, one of the contemporary rivals for this car, the Toyota RAV4. It's handy to make a comparison between the two. Right, nobody coming, off we go. Just adjust the camera slightly up. There we go, it's a better view for you. Hopefully you can hear this transmission whine that I'm getting. This car is just not the word in performance, not the last word in handling, but at least with this one you have a few more modern safety features than the Vitara that I had. We've got airbags, got ABS, and so you know you're not going to completely die if you happen to hit something along the way. Right, come along lady, you have priority. Make sure we'll be responsible motorists. Arm twirling. There we are. Give it a bit more. I think we're in a 30 limit here. There we go. Yes. Wonderful. So yes, you can buy a Vitara like this for under £1,000. This one's a low mileage example. I think it's only had 1 or 2 owners, so it'll be a little bit more than that. Obviously there is a little flag on it for where it was written off for the mirror. As I've said, that is, you know, just a little bit on the silly side. But, you know, might as well tell you whilst we're here. Excellent. So thank you once again for watching this episode of No Budget Reviews. Thank you to Ibby for lending me the car. This car might be for sale quite soon. We've got a full service history with this car, I believe, too, which is excellent. MOT, I think, till next January, so at least 6 months. It's been rather fun to drive. It does remind me of just being a larger Jimny. It's still got that really tough feeling of a proper off-roader. I think this is still on a separate chassis as well. No kind of electronic aids to help you in terms of selecting the gears. It's all done manually, which is wonderful. It's a fantastic car. If you need any sort of thing for off-road work, then this will be very, very good. Actually, in terms of just a car to drive around town, it's also quite good, although the boot is a bit small in this one. So thank you ever so much indeed for watching again. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Don't forget to like this video and to leave a comment below. And we'll see you again for another exciting episode in the future.